Good morning, everybody. This is an impromptu live with Howard as a guest here, at least his back end. Tippy's asleep in the other room, and he's doing a bit better. Um, and Callie is in a basket behind me. So all we got to do is relocate Howard in a few minutes. I wanted to go over a few things that Scott and I have thrifted the last couple weekends or week while he's been off. And then we're going to do pick 12 or a dirty dozen of some prompts on this piece of mixed media paper. And this isn't the best mixed media paper. It was some I thrifted. It's a real cheapy brand. But I'm going to cut it up and make some New Year's cards to mail out. So we're going to do that in a minute. This is what I keep all my handmade prompt cards in, but we'll pull that back in a minute and we'll choose one of the decks that's in there. Now, let's see. The first things that we got were the other night, a few days ago. I got this whole ream of 15 yards of polypropylene belting in hunter green for $5. And I can use this on tote bags. I could make a belt with it because it's belting. You can do all kinds of things with belting, but I usually use it for bags handles. So I got that. And then this was just caught my eye, and I got it for $2. I'm not sure what it went to, but it's just a sequence of circles. And I thought if I put it on a sheet of paper like this, I could just go around each of the circles, and this could be a great way to do, what are they called? Where you test out stuff. Oh my gosh, my brain is not working. Good morning, Melanie. I don't remember what that's called now. That's pretty bad. It is early in the morning. Our son is having to go into work earlier because he is now the only maintenance man on first shift at the warehouse, which is not going over very well with him. And he hopes that they'll get somebody else in and trained up before they shift to the new warehouse, which is as big as 2 football fields. And for him to have to maintain the entire building of that is asking a bit much for one person to keep all the conveyors going and everything. But we'll see how it works out. So I got that. That was $2. We're going to set that aside. And then last night, Scott wanted to go and check out the Goodwill that's out in Red Bank, which is about 35, 40 minutes from here. I saw these bamboo skewers, and I got these because our son likes to do things on the grill. And, you could just soak these in water, and then you load them up with the meat and vegetables that you want to do the skewers. And for $3, I couldn't pass it up. And then I got these, and I know these came from the Dollar Tree, but I got all 4 packs for $2. Oh, but it was Tuesday, so we got 25% off because Goodwill does Seniors Day. Anybody 55 and older, at least here in South Carolina, you get a 25% discount. So that was a good deal. But I've been looking at these cubes. I've actually bought these cubes before, and I think I sent Mary a set of these cubes. And what I'm thinking of doing, I don't know if this will work or not, but I want to use them like this, but paint them on all 6 sides because it's a cube. You get 6 sides. Paint them white, and then kind of put them together in some way where I'm holding them tight together after I've painted them and they've dried. Then just apply a napkin and let that dry, and then cut them apart. So, and then turn them to another side. So basically, I would be making a 6-sided puzzle using napkins. And I'm going to try it on one small set, but not today. that's something I'll have to do over a number of days because we'll have to leave time for drying and then cutting them apart with an X-Acto knife. And I'm probably going to have to use a emery board to, sand the edges smooth. But that's my idea, to make a 6-sided puzzle using fabric napkins on these. So we'll see if that works. So now and my word for 2026 is going to be deplete, meaning I'm going to use from my stash wherever and whenever possible to reduce what I have around the house. I'd like to reduce my yarn and my fabric by half of what I have in there. Teresa's word is stillness. That's a good word. I have a bunch of words that I would love to see in the new year. Calm, joy, happiness, friendship, unity, love. There's just so much I want out of next year. But for my own personal word, it's going to be deplete, meaning depleting the things I have in my stash. There is a challenge going on over on Instagram. Finish That Whip 2026, I think is the hashtag. Hashtag finish that whip. I will verify that and put it in my description box below. And as you know, I have 2 bins of old projects over there on the sewing machines. We've already drawn out the next thing from my jar, which was the 2 little girls' dresses. So starting tomorrow, I can work on those and I could post those as my finish to be part of that challenge. Tippy's in the potty box, and I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's making a big production. There goes Howard because he has to go see what Tippy's doing. It's so weird how if one of them's in the litter box, the others come and like hit the one that's in the litter boxes. They're coming out, hit them in the head. I don't know. Cats are strange. But anyway, let's choose a deck, and we're going to do a Dirty Dozen this morning. 12 prompts. We have our little Dirty Dozen cards in here. We have the deck that was a community built deck, which is these here. And these were word cards and things that I was doing with Kylie Koo. And she was doing these cards a number of years ago. So there was self-love and breathe and stillness and self-care and relax. I think there's another one there. Yep, and calm. I wanted to build the whole deck with her, but I don't know what happened. I think it was the same time we were trying to move back down here. Let's see, what else kind of deck? We've got the tiny deck. We've got this deck. And we've got the little itty bitty deck that was made with just a couple dirty dozens. And I just cut them down into tiny little things. And these are all prompts here. There's more to it. And I gave away a set of these, and Janet Baum won them. And then we have the kitty cat deck, which is made with a stamp that I carved. And I think in honor of Tippy, we will use the kitty cat deck. How's that sound? So I'll put these back in here. Give me just a second to put these all back in here. And we'll shuffle these up and see what we get. And we're going to do 12. Good morning. He's breathing a little better, so he's not his sides aren't sucking in as far, so the fluid is coming off. But he'll go back next Wednesday, and they'll do another x-ray to see if they can see, his lungs and heart on an x-ray, because this last one, it just looked like a huge blacked out area. You couldn't see any of it, and she could not hear his heart with a stethoscope. So he's sleeping a lot. We decided to just stop the gabapentin because I still think even half a tablet would be 50 milligrams, and he's just 10-pound little cat. And so we just stopped that, and the vet said that would be fine. So I have, talked with the technician, to the vet through her technician. And so she's okay with that. So we decided that we couldn't put Tippy through any more gabapentin because, you guys, that was terrifying. But he's doing okay, and he's wanting lots of extra love, and we're giving it to him. So there's that. So yes, thank you for asking. All right, first prompt is add numbers. Add numbers. I wish I could turn that autofocus off. Maybe that's something I can get Scott to load that thing on. So I'm just going to put some numbers on. Well, today we'll put a 12 and a 31, and we'll put 2025 there, and then we'll put 2026 here because tomorrow is the first day. So the first day, and then we'll just do some small numbers. Remember, we're doing 12 prompts, so a lot of this will get covered anyway. So I know it looks like I'm going crazy with the numbers, but it'll be all right. All right, so I've put numbers on my page. So let's look at our next prompt. Add a face. Add a face. Well, let's measure this because I'm making cards out of this. So it's 12 by 9. I could actually make these into postcards and do them 4.5 by 6. So I'm going to put just a little guide mark on here with a pencil. I can find a pencil. Oh, this is crazy. Hang on. We've been snagging my pencils to mark boards in the front room. So let me see if I can go find me a pencil. This one's never been used. So we'll have to sharpen it, but it's okay. Oh, come on. Well, let me go use Scott's old timey one. Scott has an old school pencil sharpener on his desk. So I'm just going to mark the 6 here. 6 there, and then we'll do 4.5 this way. And I'll just make them 4.5 by 6 postcards that I can mail out to the people that I got a late Christmas card from. And I just need the guidelines. And so now we're going to put a face on each postcard. So you see I do these little faces here. I'll just do some on here with pencil. Okay, and then we'll come over here and I'll do another little face here. And we'll probably cover her up some, but then at the end I'll bring her back. Oh, she got some big lips. We'll just say they're luscious. They're not big. They're luscious lips. And I'm just putting guidelines that I can come back to later with no basic detail, just kind of the shapes. And I will do the faces back up again. So I've added a face to each of the postcards. I wish I'd made that one a little bigger, but I can always change it later. So we're on number 3. Add a border. That one I'll hold to the side and add the borders after I've cut my postcards out. Okay, so that one I'm going to put that way so I remember to do that later. So next, write a positive word or phrase. That one I could add later too, but I could write it now just with a pen. And let's see, what word or phrase should we add? And I'll just write it. Somebody give me a word or phrase, and we'll just write it across here as a layer, if anybody wants to play along. Hope. Thank you, Helen. So we could just do because not every prompt has to be something that's literal or seen easily. It can just be written on the background and have it in the background. And we could actually flip over and maybe use this side and just write it in two different pen tips. We could even do it in printing. Just print it out. There we go. We can always, that's another one of those that you could come back and put that in the foreground. Hi, JL. Good morning. All right. Next prompt, wild card. That means you guys have to choose something. What do you want me to do? Should we add a color? And if so, what color should we add? I feel like we need to get some color down. Anybody want to pick a color, and I'll just grab it and we'll spread it with a Bondo spreader, my favorite way to put color down. I'm going to move the crochet box. Red. Good color. So, it's the Bondo spreader. And we need red. Here's some red. Oh, that's Santa red. I'm done with Christmas. Cinnamon drop. Ooh, and it's nice and juicy. JL does the mini moos and posts them. If you guys haven't seen her mini moos, she posts them on Facebook, right? Or is it Instagram? I can't keep up with what's done where. And I'm just going to drizzle this on and spread it with this. Oh, that had a little booger on it. Are you going to keep doing the mini moos in the new year, JL? Instagram and Facebook. That's what I thought. If you do like me, I just tell them to share it. When I put something on Instagram, I say share to Facebook. That way, nobody misses out. Boy, I can tell this is some cheap mixed media paper. I probably paid a couple dollars for it at the thrift store. Ooh. Look how floppy this is. To me, this is just not very good quality at all. And I don't worry if it gets on the back like that. You can always, I might have to apply this to something else anyway because it's so thin. And I'm going to grab a wet one. And we will see what we get next. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on 5. So number 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got the borders, and then use black. Use black. I might use black with a stencil. So find a stencil. or something that can be used as a stencil. Let's see here. My left arm is a little sore today because I got my flu shot and COVID update yesterday in the same arm. Let's see. Ooh. Let's see here. Why not? Let's put some butterflies, black butterflies on here. This is just some Mars Black, and I need a sponge. The sun is starting to come up and looking pretty, coming over through the trees. Yep, mini moos are tiny pieces of art. Ooh, this is starting to get dodgy. So I'm going to try to avoid my girls' faces, but I'm going to add some butterflies on here. And this was a stencil that I picked up at the dollar store. So it's, it's thin, but it works. And I like to go until there's hardly any paint left on. So some of the butterflies are lighter than the others, like so. And it's okay if your stencil goes off the edge of the page, because that adds interest. It's like, where are those butterflies going? Maybe over here we need some that coming in from the side over here. All right, I'll go throw this in the sink. Okay. Your mini moves can be something as simple as doing get a piece of painty paper and put it down on your base and add a word, or add a small image with a word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. All right, so we're halfway through. So the next one says stencil with white. Okay, so now I got to stencil something with white. Oh, I like this one. Oh, that's not really white, that's cream. Titanium white. I've started following a young lady on Instagram, and can I remember her name? No, I'll have to look it up. But she does little windows, like a box that's divided into different little, she calls them holes. And she did one where she did monsters in it. And then this morning's video that was offered up was she took a bust that her mother had started and she cut holes in it and she did it steampunk and it looked so cool. So if I can find a link to that, I will share that in my description box, so you guys can watch her too, because it's just so much fun to see what she can. And she makes all these miniature things to go in the holes just with random stuff. So cool. I'm gonna put this down, but it's right on my face that I put down, so I'll have to redraw the face, and we might paint the faces. And I hope everybody that's battling the flu or some other virus is getting better. I know Mary's been sick, and Kathy Whitney and her husband both have been really sick with the flu. I think her husband had the flu and pneumonia, which is bad. I hope everybody's seeing some improvement. I got way too much paint out. So what I will do is I'm going to grab a piece of painty paper out of my stash and add some of this onto that. I feel like this needs to go up here farther. Okay, we got a little of that on each of our postcards. I think that'll be fine. So let me grab a piece of painty paper or something to put this on. Of course, I've zipped the bag closed. Let's see what we've got here. This was just I had extra paint and I creamed it on here. So now let's put some of this on here. And use this paint up because you don't want to waste the 69-cent paint. Of course, that paint was a little bit more expensive than 69 cents. But anyway, we don't want to waste. And this will make this piece of paper even cooler. And we'll have this for other projects. this is how you create your own paper, just random on the fly. Just grab something you've done before and add another layer. Never be afraid to add another layer. Because, hey, if you go too far, you can always gesso, right? Here we go. That adds just a little bit of this and that. I'll set that back over there to dry somewhere. And I'll bring this back. And I'll throw this in the sink. All right, so that was 7. I will probably cut these apart. Hi, Joyce. Yes, Raul's Streamathon starts this morning at 7:45, so just in a few minutes, and y'all are free to go join that. That's fine. Okay, add something that makes you smile. Add something that makes you smile. Well, I'll tell you what made me smile the other day was some cards that we had made with a Dirty Dozen, and we had done lines on the page using fat lines, thin lines, long lines, short lines. So I'm going to add some lines with, let's see, what's complementary to red? Is it blue? Always keep your color wheel here. Let's see. Complementary to red is green. So I'm going to add some green. Thanks, Heather. Good morning, Heather. Hi, Ian. I'm surprised to see you this morning. So I need something green. Oh, where are my greens? That's blue. Blue. Oh, whatever. I'm going to use some metallic green because I can't get to the other ones right now. Let's see. I want a couple paintbrushes. And I'm just going to add some, we could add, let's see. I'm going to add some lines, but I've also pulled out a brush that I could make some leaves with. So let's put out some paint. And I'm just going to put some, just lines. They don't have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if they're not. I'll come back and add my faces back in on here. Things that make you smile. I like things that are green. So there we go. Things that are green. And I could take my piece that I added to and just put this paint on here randomly, so we're not wasting it on our scrap paper, because I don't have any water over here right now. And I can also add lines with my Bondo spreader by just running my card through the paint and picking it up and then just pulling down. And we get nice long lines that come across all of them. And maybe we'll take one this way. I'm going to have to dry this some. I think that's all I'm going to add to that in the green. I'll grab another piece of pink paper. I can just add something else too. So we're not wasting paint, and I didn't use all those paintbrushes I pulled out. I'm okay with that too. Okay, so that was something that makes me smile. And I'll throw these into the sink. Should have brought my piece back so you could see that while I was running around like a crazy woman. All right, so thanks, JL. What did I say? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to pull the 4 off. 1, 2, 3, 4. That way I'll quit forgetting what we're on. Stamp with a household item. Wow, this is going to have tons of layers. I'll just grab something out of my bin of stuff. Let's see, what are we going to grab? I need to be able to stamp with it. Okay, household item. It's going to be honeycomb. And let's see, what color should we stamp this with? A different shade of green or red, maybe? Oh, JL, have to let me know. Yellow or gold. Okay. Let me know when that is and who's doing it and all. All right, how about antique gold? Because it looks yellow and it says it's gold. I think we're gonna work on the floors later, which will do me good. It'll work this soreness out of my arm. I just didn't want her to put it in my right arm because I sleep on my right side, which they say if you sleep on your side, it's not good. You should sleep on your back. Oh, give me a break. I sleep where I'm comfortable. Okay, I will just put this down. And if you use a sponge to apply your paint to your household item, you won't get those big blobs. You know, if you dip this in, you're going to get blobs. This is making me think when we do the faces back up, we paint the faces on the postcards, that I need to put a little bee by her head. And I'm just going to keep going until I've used up my paint. And you can pick it up and lay it down again and again until the paint's all used up. Okay. Is Mina here? Hi, Mina. All right. Go throw this in the sink. I don't usually worry about the household item, but I'll throw it in there today. All right. I'll put the prompts on my community tab for anybody who wants to do them later. Oh, use blue. Oh, my word. Okay, use blue. Let's see. Blue. I think I'm going to put just small dots with the blue. Thanks, JL. That'd be great. I'm just going to do some small dots using a dowel. This is my dotting dowel. See how it's all stained up? We'll just do that. Once we cut these out into postcards, the 4.5 by 6, I will put my borders on and redo the faces. I like to do groups of 3. Don't ask me why. I just do. Whoops. Still wet there. You could also come back on these blue dots with like a Posca pen and put smaller blue dots near them. And see, I can't even, there's my face. So I don't want to get on her face with the blue dots. I knew I was going to have to bring the faces back to the top because that hit kind of early on in our thing, and I knew they'd get buried. And I could even find something smaller that I could use. And I have some small skewers that I could add smaller dots near my big dots. I shared a link to a lady that makes jewelry and hats and stuff from trash. It was really cool. think I did that on Facebook or Instagram. But the little gal that did the little holes decorating was really cool because she makes all these miniatures. And I can go even smaller. The cats are getting spoiled with Scott being home because he sleeps late when he's off like this. So they get extra time in the bed with a body. At least the ones that aren't following me around. Poor Tippy, I think he's had enough of me holding him and loving on him. He's like, I just want to sleep, woman. Quit loving on me. Poor Greg didn't get much sleep because his cats wanted his attention all night, and he had to be to work at 7 today. And that's the new norm. He's got to be there at 7 instead of 8:30. And he is not a morning person. I told him, I said, you're just going to have to try to go to bed earlier and quit staying up playing on the computer all night. The prompt was use blue. So I'm using blue. And I'm using household items again. So you can combine them again, while you're going. And I think we'll put a few here and we'll call it good. All right. It's getting kind of crazy looking, but it'll be all right. Right? It'll be all right. You don't do mornings? All right. Here we go. Add flowers. Holy moly. This thing's getting a little on the crazy side. Add flowers. I have stickers, but I don't know that they'll stick to this. So I need to dry this really bad. Let me plug the dryer in. Oops, wrong way, Becky. Oh, it was left on. It wasn't plugged in. I might just use some fat flowers. Heather says she's tired of being a morning person. She wants to be able to stay up later. Jerry Bellini said, dry from the back too. That way your paper won't curl quite so bad. add flowers. I guess I could put, like cut some out and glue them down. I have die cuts. I have a napkin. I could add napkins, couldn't I? That would add flowers and stabilize the skinny paper. Hang on just a second. Flowers. I'm going to use these. Okay. My problem is my glue brush is really not aging well. I know you can stamp on the backs, but I have so much stuff. I'm taking the layers off because if you try to glue a napkin down with all the layers, it's not going to stay stuck. It'll delaminate. So you have to get rid of the backs. And I'm just going to tear this into pieces because I find it sticks down better in smaller pieces. And then I got to find a way to stick it down here. Give me just a sec. I'm going to use we'll just use, there's only a little bit left in this. I'm going to use that. Okay. This is just my glue brush. It's just an old paintbrush that I keep in water. Keep it in a little water. All right. I am going to just squirt some down and use too much and it'll be okay. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, I've ripped it. It's okay. It's texture. I'm not going to fret over it. Just tap it down into the matte medium instead of trying to brush it because this brush is just too hard. Good enough. Next. Can't even see my original faces, so I'm going to just plan to add some more things on here. Am I caring that the blue is picked up? Nope. Not caring at all. Adds interest. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Okay. Put a piece down here. Whoops. And it doesn't matter if it goes off the side of the paper. We'll tap it down into it because pulling at it with the brush, it's not doing too good. We got a lot of people sick. Everybody needs to get better for the new year. Okay, I've added flowers. On my piece. And I'll set that aside. And we'll bring back this piece here. Or maybe this piece here. And I'm just going to... This is just a piece of painty paper I have laying around. Make your own painty crazy paper for ephemera pieces. And then we'll just take this napkin and we'll just plop it on here. Put a little bit on top and quickly slide it around here. Okay, I'll slide that off somewhere to dry. And I've got a few pieces of this left. That way I don't have to deal with this running around loose in the stash. It's glued down to something. And I haven't made myself more bits to have to deal with later. I'm dealing with them right now. Does that make sense? So I'm only touching this stuff once. Come on. There's not much left in this bottle. Okay. Come on. Only need a little bit left. And see, you can cut this apart, and it's, where the flowers are could be part of an artist trading card. And now I don't have any of those scraps left. All right. Set that aside to dry somewhere. There we go. All right, bring back our piece that we're actually working on. Here we go. And we'll dry it a little bit. Melanie has to go. That's okay. I just keep thinking we still have the coldest month of January to get through. That was one reason I decided yesterday to go and get my flu shot and my COVID booster before I went any farther into the new year with not having it. So many people walking around with their masks on again, because everywhere we went yesterday, people were coughing, and I was like, oh. All right, we have one more prompt before we cut them apart. So there's what we got so far. This one says, use markers. Use markers. Well, I might consider my Poscas markers. Hi, Pam. And do that. I have some Sharpie creative markers. Those are markers. So we'll just use the Sharpie creative markers. Well, let's just do this. Probably gumming this up. Oh, well, if I ruin them, I ruin them. At least I'm using them. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I can't really tell what this flower's doing, so I'm just kind of faking it. Oh, that's not glued down right there. I'm going to turn it just so I don't stick my hand in the stuff I just did. These have really gone a little crazy. These flowers seem to be all 4-petaled flowers, but all right. Clean it up a little bit. And then what do I have in green? I have this one here, which there's a leaf here. And we can come around this thing here. And I'm just going over where the napkin gave me leaves. Sort of. Some of them I'm just guessing. I'm making it up as I go along. It'll be fine. It will be fine. And this is the little thing that's got like a stem comes up. Something like that. And there's a leaf here. And there. We'll pretend there's one right here. And I don't think that's going to show. There's a leaf there. I think that's pretty good. I missed that flower entirely. There's a leaf there. We're going to pretend there's one there. We'll come back in with the yellow and put another flower there. Oh, and I didn't kind of smush this. All right, and let's do where this is. We'll just put some of those. Just make some marks. And I know that's supposed to be a different color, but you can change it. And I could even cheat and use a face from a magazine on each postcard. I could just glue one on. Okay, and we're back at the beginning, and I feel like that needs to be darker there. And we got one here. Okay, is that everybody kind of, sort of? All right. Then I'm going to take the black. You think it has a Chinese vibe? Let's put some dots on here. These markers are great for like poster making, things like that. They are awesome. I really have enjoyed these. I will buy another set when these get messed up, but probably not this new year. I want to try to just use what I have. My main focus is going to be on yarn and fabric though, because I need that space in the back cleared out. All right. And let's see. Oh, you'll love them, Helen. They're awesome. I've enjoyed them. I'm making some smaller dots with a Posca. The lady at the Goodwill last night wanted to know if we were going to stay up and welcome in the new year. And I'm like, you kidding? Come 9 o'clock, my body's like, nope, it's bedtime. I'm like out like a light. I can't stay up late. Too many years. First 18 years of my life was on a farm. And there wasn't no sleeping in on a farm because you got to do all those chores before you go to school. And yeah, not happening. All right, I want to keep this black and get a white out. We're going to cut this apart now. Set those out of the way. I need to trim off the napkin first. You're watching Stranger Things? Oh, when we were at Aldi's the other day, they had Stranger Things cereal, and I bought Greg a box. Scott and I smelled it, and we were like, that's nasty. Oh, that reminds me. Guess what my son gave me for Christmas? He gave me a t-shirt, and it says on the front of it, I kid you not, it says, I'd sniff that. Because he says, you're always smelling things and saying, that smells weird. So I got you a shirt that says, I'd sniff that. And it's like, you know who's really bad about wanting to know what something smells like is your father. So this shirt really should have went to your dad, not me. I'd sniff that. I was like, Greg, what the heck? That's the kind of weird household this is. We're just all kind of weird. He did buy me some nice gifts, though. He got me the boho stickers, and he got me a book I'm doing the Wind in the Willows characters in felt, and it's like sewn felt, not felted, like with the needle bit. You get felt fabric, and why am I having so much trouble with it? And sewing them together. I love Wind in the Willows. And the unruly frog or toad, the one that likes to drive fast and crash. Okay, well, let's cut these apart. We've got to add the border. We've got to put our faces back on. That sounds bad. I've got to put our faces back on. All right. So this way, we got to cut at 4.5 because that's half the width of the sheet. And this paper is not stable enough to mail as is. I'll probably have to attach it to something else. So I might sew it to a piece of black or something. All right. 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. There's our postcards. Hi, Carol. I'm going to put a border on here of sorts. The first thing I think I'd like to do is take a Sharpie marker and just cover the edge like this. I just like to do this because it gives it a finished edge. So we've been noticing that the Mustang from across the street hasn't moved. And so we walked over there. I don't know if I've told you this already or not. If I have, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. But I said, well, there's notices on the door. Something's been tagged to the door. So we walked over there, and there was 2 notices to vacate on the door. So Scott went over and looked at the Mustang, and the Mustang, the tag has been removed from it. They flattened the tires, and they busted out a window. So not only did they vacate, probably without paying for rent for months, and this is why I never want to rent property out. And they abandoned that car there. Lord only knows what they did to the inside of that guy's house. And he had just spent a fortune, putting in a new kitchen and updating everything and painting everything. And so I don't know if he knows they're gone. They've been gone for several months now. But, there's a process of evicting. And so no more wild parties across the street. I thought one night, I called the police one night simply because I was afraid somebody was going to get hurt. I mean, they were out in the yard screaming and hollering and getting up in each other's faces, and I was afraid somebody was going to get hurt. Oh, Mr. Scott is up.
Good morning.
You'll have to make fresh coffee. I turned that off because I didn't want it to burn down. And I've been up trying to get the boy out the door, and he was mad at the cat because she kept him up. And I was like, well, Greg, she was hungry. There's not an ounce of food in this bowl. I said, cats are like kids. The first thing you do is, are they wet? Are they hungry? He said, it doesn't matter. She wakes me up no matter what. And I was like, well, that would have been the first thing I did, is tried to make sure her needs were being met. Now she's laying in the kitchen all smug, like, I didn't do that. They're lying. Granddad, they're lying. They're lying. Helen's saying hi. Everybody's saying hi, Scott. Oh, my arm. I need to take some more Tylenol. All right. Yeah, 30 degrees. Look at the shed roof. It's just white. out there. Yeah, I'm glad you put the air in the tire too. I'm just eyeballing about a 1/4 inch and adding a border. Quarter inch-ish. And then I got to put my face back on here. And then I'll do a squiggly line here and there because I just like how that looks. Tippy got in the new playground. We went, somebody Scott works with gave Howard a $25 PetSmart gift card. So we went to PetSmart yesterday and got them a tunnel. Well, this morning, Tippy decided he was feeling well enough to get in the tunnel, and Howard pounced on him from the top and came in from the top hole. I said, you got to be nice and gentle with Tippy. Howard said, my gift card. Yeah. Howard's like, that's my gift card they spent, not yours. Howard gets a lot of image building through Scott sharing pictures. So Howard's famous. Howard is just our business cat. We used to, when they used to be in and out cats up at the cottage, we'd say, oh, Howard's got a meeting, because he'd like do this like little lilt of a jump as he left the front porch, and then he'd go up the yard like, oh, I'm late. I got to get going. Y'all have made me late. It's an important meeting. Told Scott I'll make them some ties for Halloween one year, and we'll let Howard be the important business cat he's always dreamed of being. All right, so there's my border as such. Now, I did the border. I got to make my faces. I got to have faces back. So there's a face right here. I think I'm just going to, huh? Let's see. Let's see what I got. Ow! As far as flesh tones. A light mocha. Let's do light mocha, just head shapes, and then I'll go from there. We'll just do that. Let's see here. Light mocha. All right. And I'll just see if I can see my face. She's right in here. Goodness. I'm just trying to get a basic shape because I can come back in with like colored pencils and stuff. Let's turn her upside down here. I think he came and got back in bed with you for a while, Tippy. All right, so that's going to be my basic lady's face there. Let's see, can I see the face on this one? Or are we just going to make it up as we go along? I can't even see my outline for the face anymore. She should be like right around in here somewhere. So we're just going to add a face. I could almost turn these into like little fairies or sprites or something, couldn't I? She's in a garden. Her neck's kind of thick. I might have to make her head bigger. Maybe not. All right, I'm just trying to get the basic shape down for right this second. I feel like I'm being naughty, invading the New Year's thing, streamathon, but I'm not part of that. And Wednesdays are usually my day. Good morning, Peg. So lovely to see you. Now I know this girl's face was in here somewhere, so we're going to paint her over the flowers, I think. Or maybe, well, if I go too high, then I have to do her body, and I just want to do faces. So we'll just put her right here. I have been up since about 5 o'clock. It is now 8:30. Wow. And I've been on here for an hour and a half. But it's been so long since we've done a dirty dozen, so I thought, well, Scott's sleeping, Greg's gone to work. I will come on real quick and do my New Year's card. So Esther will get one of these and Barb Owen will get one because their Christmas cards came after Christmas. All right. The napkin is giving this girl's poor face some real texturing. I might give her some wild, colorful hair. All right, so the girl's face needs to be in here somewhere. We are so thankful that we pulled the rest of that floor up and got the plywood down in that single day that we did because the weather was nice that day. And since then, a cold front has moved in and it has been really quite cold. And Scott got the rest of the room, the perimeter of the room, on that side, he put some spray foam in, and that's cut the draft way down, which has been wonderful too. Fantastic. I might make her head a little bit bigger. I guess I should go get a thing of water. I might focus on just finishing one card. So I'm not keeping you guys here all day, but I'll post a picture of all of them finished. But I think we're going to go to the first one we painted in. I think I'm going to take this one because she's got something going on with her neck that looks kind of odd right there. All right, let me go get some water. Get a folded paper towel here. I think I'm going to just add a little something to the paint I already have out. For some shading color, I'm going to add a little burnt umber. My girl's going to have either a tan or a darker complexion. Whatever happens. We'll use our little stick we used earlier. Mix that up so that's a little bit darker. And I can lay in her nose and stuff. It's 1:25 p.m. where Helen is. Wow. Let's see here. That right there. Get that wet and dry it off a little. See what I can do about kind of laying in. Let's darken up her neck area a little bit on one side. Actually, underneath here. And maybe. Okay. Come down. That gives her kind of a basic face going in. And let's give her some crazy hair. Because why not? I must have missed Peg entirely. She was going for coffee. That's okay. But this sounds pretty empty. Kelly Donovan always does these girls with this magnificent mane of hair that's just flowing. That's what we're going for. A Kelly Donovan inspired girl. So she does like big hair. It kind of just flows everywhere. can come in with some other colors. I need to move this glue because I keep glue brush because I keep wanting to stick my brush in it. Thank you, Angela. I'm probably making them crazy now, but hey. Everything goes through an ugly phase. All right, I'm going to leave her alone a minute. Maybe we'll add some blue hair on some of these other ones. Some kind of weird headdress of some sort. We'll give them each a little different kind of do here. All right. Love the hair. Let's see. Let's see here. I don't know where this one's going, but her hair is going to be something else. Hers is coming across her face. Be like a 1960s beehive on this poor girl. All right. All right, I'm going to leave those just as they are. We'll just work on this girl now. I'm digging for some other blues. Can you dig it? Apparently, that one was just about the same color I already had. Let's clean that off. brush selection here. Oops, that one just pulled apart. Must have come unglued. All right, let's see. Excuse me. Sorry, I went quiet. Anybody got any special plans? I know Ann's going on a cruise. We don't have anything special planned. Ourselves. Streaming today and Chinese dinner later. Ooh, yum. What time do you start streaming, Carol? Because I know you come on. I don't want to be on during your time. This is very impromptu because I figured later we'd be working on the floor or something. So I could make us come on live while we're working on the floor and just not say anything to y'all. We'll just be working and you can watch. If that's something you'd be interested in. Just bear in mind, there could be colorful language. This blue is not flowing worth beans. 5 Eastern for the streamathon. Gotcha. I'll just squirt that with some water. See if I can get a better flow going. Now it's got too much in the brush. They're still on their time. We stopped and saw Scott's mom yesterday, and I took the pajama bottoms back that I'd fixed for her. And she didn't know what they were or where they came from, or she thought Adele had left that morning, and she'd left like last Friday. And it's a rough situation. All right. What can we do next? Let's see. Ay, 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 ay. I don't need a lot of that. I know, she looks spooky now. Okay. Giving her eyelids so she don't look like she's boogie-eyed. Picking up a little of the darker, give her an eyebrow. Yep. something smaller. Let me see. And because she has blue hair, her eyebrows will need to be blue too, right? That looks all right. Oh, okay. Oh my, I've been on 2 hours. I need to wrap her up here and let you guys go. Enjoy the streamathon. Let's give her a little. Uh-oh, Scott's sneezing. Give her a little mouth. There we go. Let's see here. And I'm going to come back in with some Poscas and stuff and do some additional work once the paints have all dried. I'm trying to give her a pearl necklace here. And I'll fix that up with the Posca pen. But anyway, this is what they'll all kind of look like. And then I'll bring our word hope back to the front and maybe a happy new year. So thank you guys for hanging with me this morning. I've got quite the pile of paint going there. But these girls will all get finished, and I'll post a picture of them when they're done. I'm probably not going to work on them anymore right now because I need to make some breakfast. So thank you guys for hanging with me, and I will try to get all the links put in that I've talked about and the prompts put on the community tab. So don't look for them right away. I need a break between, and I will see you guys in the next one. Happy New Year. Bye.